On this channel, Million Dollars Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. What we do is look at what the S&P 500 has done in the past, and we look forward to what it might do for you in the future. This is not financial advice. It's simply a tool that you can use in your financial planning. Uh, I am not set up to do a more detailed analysis. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you'll just give me your beginning balance, the monthly amount you can save, and if you want me to increase that amount, I will run the numbers for you. Here's what I mean by that. This is savings. Uh, let's say somebody has $20,000 saved up. Say they're around 30 years old and they've been able to save 20,000 and they can save 500 a month, which is 10% of somebody making 60,000 a year, $500 a month. What I want to do is show you where they might be in 30 and 35 years. It's going to do all the numbers for the last 100 years for every 20, 25, 30, and so on, 45-year time period. And of course, returns won't be identical to any of these, but I can give you a range. And that's what we like to do on this channel is give you a range. For example, in this case, a 30-year range would be the worst case scenario in a 30-year period. The last 100 years would be $1 million, and the best would be 4.127. I specifically want you to look at this column right here. This shows you how many times you would make $1 million, these different amounts in a 30-year period and a 35-year period. Notice 100% of the time you'd have over $1 million, which makes sense because right here in the 30-year column there's a minimum million. But look how many times you'd make it to 1.5 million, 58% of the time. I just want to do one other thing. Let's just increase that. Instead of $500 a month, let's increase it by just 1%. And I want you to notice how these percentages change. 58 and 38, just that 1% difference. And all of a sudden it went 58, 38 to 59 and 42. Not that much of a difference. Let's try 2%. I haven't run these numbers before, so I wasn't sure what I was going to show. How many times we reach 1.5 million? 68% of the time and 46%. How about 3%? In other words, 500, 515 or whatever. Right now, we're at 68 and 46. We're up to 80. Originally, we started at 58 and 38. Now we're up to 80 and 54 just by increasing this by these different percentages. Let's do one other thing. Let's say you don't have anything saved. Let's go back up here. I want you to notice in the 35-year column, because they're starting out with less money, so we're not going to hit the $1 million mark near as much. But look at that. 35-year period, starting with nothing, putting in $500 a month. 100% of the time, you'd have over $1 million. There's right there, 1.4 million, almost 1.5. 95% of the time, you'd have over 1.5. Well, let's go ahead and do the same thing with this scenario, increasing it by 1%. Again, we have 95 and 52% of the time you'd be making it to those amounts. And that 1% made that go up to 100%, 1.5 million, which you can see it right there, 1.583 is a minimum. So obviously all the other years would be 100% of the time you'd have over 1.5 million. Let's go over to, that's what we like to do is just run numbers for people. See, 59% of the time, if that changes much, 74% of the time you get to 2 million. Let's go one more, 3%. In other words, we're increasing 500 to 515 and so on. Right now, we're at 74% of the time you make it to 2 million. How many times would you make it? Increasing that 3% up to 89% of the time, you'd have over $2 million, starting with $500 a month and increasing that by 3% a year, given the returns for the last 100 years. That's what we like to do in this channel is run numbers. If you want me to run numbers for you, just put the beginning balance, what you want me to have, what do you want to increase that, what percentage you want to increase that each year, and definitely how much you want to do a month. And so that's what we do for people. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Share this with your friends and neighbors. And I'll run numbers for them. It's just a tool to help them see where they might be in the future in any of these periods, 20 up to 45 years. It's just a great tool to see what kind of possible range you might have just using the returns for the S&P 500. Again, please consider subscribing, share this with your friends, like the video, and thanks for watching.